install the SRD, want to hook up the power plug supplied with the SRD, and each SRD is rated to different voltages. Please follow the nameplate. This specific SRD is rated for 230 volt, 1 phase, 3 wires, 1 phase, 1 neutral, and 1 ground. Also, we'll have the main breakers rating 16 amp, and fuses inside for a full load is 5.4 amp. Largest load is 2.5 amp. SCCR is rated at 5 kilo amp, and if you want a reference to the drawing for the electrical, that would be 935-002065. So you connect the power plug, you make sure your EPO is released from the front and the back. You need to hook up CDA. CDA is clean dry air. We need 60 psi, 60 to 70 liter per minute. It's hooked up through a 1/4 inch PFA tube. The eye supply is coming through a 1/2 inch PFA tube. We usually supply a T right over here. You can enable a recirc to avoid any dead legs into the tube. The eye rated from 25 to 40 psi, 1.8 to 2.5 gallon per minute. And to supply is coming through a 1/2 inch PFA tube, 1/2 inch flare fitting right here. It's rated from 30 to 35 psi, 215 to 140 liter per minute. We have an exhaust port over here. You can hook up exhaust to the SRD. The flow for the exhaust is 7 CFM. You will always have this line over here. It's purging CDA. This is the exhaust line of the vacuum port. At the bottom, we have the drain box, and inside the drain box, if you remove this grid, you will have the resistivity monitor and the flapper. To turn on the SRD, want to switch the main breaker on and then the GFI breaker. Now we're in front of the SRD. Make sure that the emergency power off button is released. You press on the power button. A green light will turn on, means we have power. Windows is gonna kick in. So once Windows is loaded, IDX is gonna launch by itself, and IDX is the proprietary software for Rena that is running the SRD. Once the IDX is loaded, it's gonna go through a home sequence. Basically, since the rotor is not installed, you will see just the shaft of the motor spinning, and then you hear a couple noises. This is basically the RSP, rotor stop positioner, in the back side of the SRD engaging, and then it will pop out a screen asking you if you want to accept the rotor position. Just say yes for now, and you can clear any alarms you have. You will have to accept the rotor upright position in order for the IDX to allow you to open the door. Otherwise, the door will be locked. If the door is locked, you open this panel and you reach for the door lock from the side. Release the piston in order to let this window open. Once the window is open, you want to install the SRD rotor supplied with the SRD. Once the rotor is installed and you have a cassette in, you want to close the door, go to operations, rotor screen, click on rotor up. Now the SRD is going to go into a rotor homing sequence. We're going to disengage the rotor stop positioner. This is the piston on the back of the SRD holding the rotor from spinning. We're going to enable the motor to spin at 180 degree. And once it gets to 180 degree, we're going to disable the motor, engage the piston, the RSP, go to the mechanical upright position. If you see that the rotor is physically in the upright position, just say yes. And if it's not in the upright position, please go through our rotor upright position video. Once the rotor is in upright position, You want to set RPM and go through different RPMs to make sure that this rotor is free of any vibration. And once satisfied, you want to go to select recipe. Initially, I would run couple turbo rinses. A turbo rinse, it's a high RPM recipe enabling DI rinse at the same time. This will clean the chamber, clean the rotor, clean the drains and the resistivity box. Once you hit OK, you're gonna hear a loud noise. This noise is basically the N2 being on. At the same time, the N2 heater is enabled and the chamber heater is enabled. Once they reach their standby set point within the heat up time, which is 5 minutes, once the N2 and the bowl temperature reaches standby set points, the start button is enabled and it will allow you to start the turbo rinse. I would say start maybe 4 or 5 turbo rinses before you start testing any particles on the SRD.